Ahora la gente viene de lejos para
What is happening, people? What is happening?
Like, man, Sean, we need some more dollar clubs. I always feel the pressure of that, but we just trade and whatever happens, happens. So
across corporates in
All
terms of
right,
what we're seeing.
we are
I
live
think
finally.
what we hope to see is more of a productivity boom from all of the spending on AI. The good news is, though, earnings is what drives stock markets higher, and technology stocks and AI-driven earnings are still continuing.
Give me a
to be the
second
leader
while
in terms of
we
growth.
get some
But
people
what
on
we also
board.
expect is markets to broaden, because if you look after technology earnings growth, you're seeing growth in other areas like materials and industrials. All that's very
And
positive
we
for
gotta
the
copy
markets to
this.
broaden, which would lead to a healthier market.
Well, that's what I was just going to say, Sarah. With all these AI headlines, basically taking over the narrative, right? What are we missing about the rotation trade that could be very consequential, given that we literally yesterday just hit another record on the S&P equal weighted index?
I think that's because of the earnings growth we're seeing in other sectors. So as inflation pressures ease, that's positive for materials companies. As the economy continues to remain pretty strong, it's good for industrial companies. Interest rates movements can be positive for financials, and regulations are getting easier for financial companies. All of that's positive for the non-tech trade. So while tech had a very strong first half, took a bit of a breather after that, and has been reasonably strong recently, I think what you're going to see in the second half is more broader market participation. So if I'm looking at equities, it's not just about owning U.S. growth stocks. Global equities look more attractive to us because that lets you keep one foot in the ground and one foot in the tech side of the trade, but also get to benefit from the rest of the world, international developed markets, emerging markets, which are also performing quite strong year to date.
On the subject of circular financing, I'm curious if you breathed any kind of sigh of relief when that news release landed a couple of days ago about that NVIDIA deal, if it had the kind of desired effect you think on the market here of assuaging investors who might have been worried about that, to see these 6 major firms lining up with NVIDIA on that financing agreement.
It was positive for NVIDIA, which has been kind of a laggard recently. Circular financing in terms of these tech stocks is definitely a concern. You're seeing a lot of companies do deals with each other, sort of funding each other's deals, and that's becoming a bit of a concern. So it is promising to see less of that and more companies definitely broadening the economic growth for technology and the sector, and not so much relying on each other for their growth.
Sarah, you mentioned international opportunities. Where would you be
Yo,
looking, given that we've seen
what's
so much
happening, brother?
volatility in Korea, though that seems now to have settled? Or would you be looking to some of the underloved plays, maybe India or somewhere else?
Well, Korea is definitely more of a tech trade. It had such a strong year last year that not surprised to see it give some of that back, and it can be very dependent on what technology is doing in the U.S. and in the rest
All
of the
right.
world. So if you're looking for areas that are more cyclical, you'd be looking at more European sectors, European material stocks, European industrials. Those would be areas that we'd be playing off a global cyclical recovery, playing off perhaps rates that aren't increasing as strongly as people expected. European financials can be very strong. Those are areas that we'd be looking to get more of a cyclical flavor to our portfolios, rather than being so dependent on
So,
which the U.S. and
beautiful.
Asia like Korea are.
We need to wait a couple minutes while we upgrade our just a quick update here on the app.
We're getting about 212 stocks higher, 289 though still lower. As you can imagine, it is the optical plays, it is the chip
This
plays,
will
it is
probably,
the AI stocks that are
you guys will
moving
probably have a
higher
few
today, and
issues
that's
signing
why we're
in,
getting sort of more of a movement to the
but
upside than the
here
downside, in
is
spite of fewer
what we're
stocks
looking
being
at.
higher. But
Let me
obviously,
take
NVIDIA is one of the
this,
best performers
take these
in terms
leaders
of
out of
weighting,
here.
which
All right, there we go. You can be quiet now. All right, all right. So here we are after the CPI news, which nothing came surprisingly up or down, above or below the expected numbers. Okay, basically everything is as it was expected. And just get a little bit of lighting. There we go. Beautiful. So yes, that's that. We have some CPI. The CPI number I'm going to show you right now. This is what we got for right here. Nothing red, nothing green. This was as expected. What's important is over here the non-farm payroll, non-farm employment, non-farm payroll, and overall what these numbers mean for the economy, and then how the market is behaving. I like to think there's gonna be the news. No, the news is back up. The news is just like background noise. I'd like to think gold might continue going up. However, if we go to the daily time frame, I want to show you what I'm looking at the daily time frame, because I wouldn't get so excited yet. Okay, we need to see gold break above 4,500. Basically we have this zone of previous high over here. Let me change this. Okay. This previous high might get respected and hold. That is 4,500. Okay, the 4,500 is key. Yes, 4,300 is back above 4,300. I'm also going to show you something else. We have an important daily time frame trend line, and we wouldn't want that to hold, right? I mean, if we are bullish on gold, that's going to be key right there. You see that the picture changes when you zoom out. Okay, when in doubt, zoom out. This right here is what we need to be careful for. I'm going to just quickly highlight this for you. Okay, we have another one here, and then we have that zone where we are currently. And what's interesting, I'm going to show you something in a second. What's interesting is that we had already a daily candle reject, closing as an inverted hammer candle, right? Bearish. So if we zoom in, look at this candle right here at that trend line. That is a bearish sort of hanging man, it's called also, but not the hanging man is like the body's up top. But this is an initial rejection that I would be very careful with, okay? And that has been happening, or it happened above these highs. And so this could be already the market trying to tell you we want to reject from this overall supply zone, all of this area, right? This is traffic, so it hits that traffic and it struggles, okay? And so really the key level that we want to see price is hold above 4,500 and over here. So I'm going to make this yellow because that's going to be a pivot zone. Okay, this is your pivot area. Very important pivot area. Okay. Right over here. And with the current situation, yes, there's a lot of fundamentals that continue to give gold bullishness. I am a gold bullish, gold bull myself. I've known we are gonna go to 7,000 plus. I mean, gold is really set up to go real high. The question is, are these equal lows going to get manipulated before, or if this is it, right? This could be the initial move, and what we might see is a pullback that should respect our Fibonacci golden entry, right? The golden ratio between 61 and 78% retracement. So I would like to see that pullback, and I think that's what could happen. Okay, I think that's what could happen, where you see, even though the numbers, the CPI and all that, that's noise, right? It's gonna price is gonna do what it needs to do. The market is gonna do what it needs to do. It needs to grab liquidity, go fill up imbalances or whatever. And we have a big daily imbalance over here. Check this out. You see that? So I'm gonna now measure this imbalance, and I want to see if price ever returns, tries to show rejection within that imbalance, and if it overlaps with the 61.8 and 70% retracement, then that would be a great longer term entry. Okay, because then price is basically showing that it could respect this trend line over here from where the market began that push up. Yes. If we also go to our volume profile, as you can see, 4,030. 4030 would be the point of control of this overall area, right? Of this all the zone. So I wouldn't get too excited for this initial push. It could be obviously an indication that the gold finally broke out of this correction. This correction might have ended, but you know, almost at least 50% of the times there's a significant pullback, right? And 50% of the times it retraces to the 50% of that initiation move, which could be measured from down here or from this move right at the bottom where it actually started. Either way, you're looking at price to try and retrace to 4,200 and below. I would want to wait for price to be there before buying. Would I chase price? I mean, it's risky. I wouldn't necessarily chase it. And that's another reason why we have our tool over here to basically tell us what we could do. And looking at today's market open, we go to the 15-minute time frame. The data didn't do much, but initially it wicked, taking these lows and bouncing hard back up. So that is bullishness. 9:30 open remained bullish. It held supports, right? And it's now trying to get higher. So overall, I would say this could be a bullish day. It could want to go grab liquidity above the high of yesterday, which is over here. If we go here, our highs and lows, and we go to the 3-hour time frame or the current, we can see that it is marking, I'll show you in a second. This is your high and low setting that you could toggle on and off in your Liqu platform, but it's basically going to give you a high and low. The high, obviously the recent high, but I want to show you it's basically already grabbed liquidity from this high. There it is. Okay, so price is already peaked its head up above that high, which is yesterday's, and it's trying to reverse. Then you got bullishness, of course, a lot of pressure upward as well. That breakout was very strong. There's not always such a significant pullback, and rather an accumulation. Okay, and so again, just be careful. Watch out if price is closing above 4,430, then you could take it to 4,500. But it's key to see price, how it behaves at the high, right? At this high, because this could also be the A shape. You know, the A shape is basically one move above a previous high, comes back below the high, a second move manipulating that first push, and then a significant drop below the first drop, confirming that price is breaking structure to the downside, and then you have a failed retest to the upside and it holds the previous resistance. That being said, if we see the New York Stock Exchange market fail to trade above its recent high, we could see a potential reversal. I'm not saying back to 4200, but at least over here to these recent lows, right? So just creating another area of over here, the area of demand, right? These supports. And there's a lot of stop loss orders over here. Anybody who's been buying, they put their stop loss below these equal lows, thinking that's going to be a strong support, and then the market, all it does is just comes quickly down. If we see the 15-minute, we have a little imbalance here. We have quite an empty space here that price could want to come and fill, right? Notice we've had the volume profile always on, and it's always showing us over here what the point of control is, okay? So 4340, right? Now, if we run a signal, or a projection rather, more than a signal, it's actually a projection. I gotta correct myself there and train you and train everyone that this panel of our platform, what it does is it's going to give you the highest probable scenario and trade setup based on current market structure, based on current market data, based on current news, and all that the algorithm is doing in seconds, which is the trader's job to do in a couple hours, which is reading the news, analyzing price action, technical analysis, fundamentals, and basically come up with our best possible decision, which is to buy or sell. Liqu does that for you in seconds. We gave you this trade window, and we can set, we want to trade for in the next 30 minutes, and we want to analyze the last 6 hours. This is a scalping opportunity. Let's see what it's telling us. Almost certain
patience pays off.
Almost certain it was going to say patience pays off indeed, right? Because, like I said, this is starting to be a potential reversal, or excuse me, resistance zone. It is telling me there's a breakout of 4423. What that is telling me, what basically is doing is there was a short-term range in the 30-minute time frame, which is all of this zone, and price broke out. It's now closing back above it, the key level that it's showing us, which is 423, that high right there. Okay, so that is your sort of initial, something that you would do as a trader, right? You would analyze a range, and if it's breaking above a resistance, you're thinking, okay, this might be a breakout, right? So that is what Liqu is telling us, okay? Basically right now. However, there is a 50-50 chance. This is a 55% probability that you could buy, but there's still some bearish variables that are too heavy weighted that are telling you just be careful. Okay, it would then be your choice, obviously your decision to do whatever you wish. Here you have a live trade setup, as again, as we always suggest you do, is basically just hit the auto whenever you have a potential setup. Okay, because even though we have a weight suggestion, you could see, okay, give me a long projection, and it'll give you, if you tell it like, hey, well, regardless of the suggestion to wait, what would be currently a potential long setup? In this case, it's telling you that you have these parameters within this time frame, which would be 4493 as your take profit entering the market now, because I just clicked give me a live trade setup long projection at this particular moment. And so it's giving me this idea, this, this potential setup, it tells you right here, take profit 4,500, stop loss 4,383. Okay, and the first take profit here, it's set slightly below the projected price, because this is how do I say this? Like, this is really old school advice from experience, to always put your take profit a little before the point that you believe and think or analyze that price could get to. That is just, take it as just like a street sort of street knowledge, from being in this for a long time. And I was always reaching just before take profit. The market came back into a lower area, or back to where my entry point was, and I just decided, you know what, if I want to put my take profit at, let's say in this example, 4,500, I'm gonna get out at 4,490. You see what I'm saying? That's gonna really make you secure some profits, and you'll thank me later for that. So our risk to reward is always gonna give you a 1.5 to 1. You'll see a projected take profit, and then you'll see the take profit, the hard take profit in your chart. Okay? From that analysis, from that trade projection, it's going to show you the variables that are in play. In this case, there's a bullish V shape, which that is coded in from my personal entry model, V shape and A shape, where, as you know, and if you've been following me and you know how I trade, this is a low time frame confirmation that price is manipulating a higher time frame area of interest, that is a low or a high. And in this particular example, this wick right here would be your V shape within a lower time frame, manipulating these lows. Okay? So again, you see the panel of all of the variables that we're currently showing you, that you can keep an eye on and understand why this potential bullish setup is as such. Okay? Anybody have any questions so far? Let me know in the chat. You know what I did? I forgot to tell everyone on Instagram that we're live. Whoops. Let's do that right now. Let's do that right now. Forgive me, I forgot to post the link. We're live, everybody. New York stock market open. Go live. Yeah. Forgive me, I forgot to post the link. We're live, everybody. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so what else? What else? If you have just joined, we are analyzing a potential long setup because I used the live trade setup panel to give me a long projection setup. Liqu is telling me to wait. That is important that I should highlight and specify. Liqu is telling me to wait because there are still a lot of variables that are mixed. As I explained earlier, there is an overall higher time frame supply zone, and that is why price is kind of struggling and it doesn't know what to do. It's kind of there hanging around. Okay, so that being said, let's practice. Let's just to quickly show what you could do as well with this live trade setup. Let's say you don't think gold is going to keep going higher. You're basically wanting to I wouldn't say ignore, right, the projection or the suggestion panel, but you just want to take a short trade. So you tell Liqu, give me a short projection, which, by the way, it tells you, look, it's a counter trend. You see that when I change, it tells me it's a counter trend. That's, I mean, this is beautiful. Look at this. When I'm backing to long, it says with trend. And you know, rule number 3, the trend is your friend. That is my third rule. Number 1, secure profits. Number 2, be the hunter, not the hunted. Rule number 3, the trend is your friend. So if you want a short projection, it tells you this is a counter trend. And before I click, you obviously have to read all of these things that it's telling you why you should wait, right? For example, key 4421, recent swing high resistance. Aggressive momentum liquidity sweep. Wait for a total effective score. I'm reading this right here. Okay, this might be small in your screen, I know, but you can see it when you open your platform yourself. So I'm going to read it for you. It says wait for total effective score to reach a +4. That is the signal or projection or suggestion. Before considering any entry, do not act on the current weight, regardless of short-term price movement. Okay? A decisive reclaim and close above 4430 with increasing delta dominance shifting from the current natural 1.45 reading would be the minimum confirmation needed to assess this projection. Okay? So that being said, should I go for a counter trend short projection? I hit open projection and notice how the parameters adapt, and it is much shorter because it's a counter trade. The stop loss is tighter, the take profit is also closer. It's a smaller range trade. So even from a manual perspective, this is highly accurate, and it's helping you be disciplined, protect your money, and trade with the trend. Okay, we don't want you to catch the high or low of the market or of a move, because it's hard to predict one until it is. I can't tell you this is a bottom until it is a bottom. I mean, you know, gold kept going up, up, up. Everybody was saying, oh, this is the top, this is the top. And it just flew to 5,000 plus until it wasn't, right? Until it just collapsed. So, and again, it was coming down, down, down. Everybody said, oh, 4,200, 4,100. It got to 390, 3,980, something like that. Right? So we don't want you to trade a falling knife or a rising skyrocket. Either way, however, we have an extent knowledge of the market. You're not, you know what you're doing. This isn't hard. You reading a chart, and all we're doing here is giving you a very effective tool to give you these setups for you, these high probability setups. Okay, so that being said, and going back to the specific example, a potential short trade would be entering now with a stop loss at 4447, take profit of that recent wick down that came below 4385, I'm sorry. And if you see the volume profile, the point of control is right there, right? It's very close to the take profit that is giving you in a potential short-term scalping short trade. Obviously, as my personal choice would obviously go with the trend, right? Again, that's the rule. Trade with the trend. So obviously, my long projection would be favorite, and if I switch that, this would be my initial initial trade. Should I actually trade? Because I'm actually following our main suggestion panel, right? Our main projection panel, which is to wait. Okay, so the opening today wasn't as exciting as I was expecting it to be. I thought that all these numbers of the CPI was going to cause a bit more of volatility. However, notice how the recent highs are acting as resistance now after that wick manipulated those highs. So price came above resistance, yesterday's high, which is this yellow shaded area, trade below, and on its way back up, it failed to go back up, right? To go higher, and is now sort of rejecting. So yes, there is a probability of coming down, but there's also a probability of continuing going up. You can see it right over here, 55 and 45. Questions? Questions? What is Gucci, everyone? Who is on? Where are you from? Where are we? Where are we? Okay, this is what I want to see again. If you are just hopping in right now, we are discussing quite a boring New York Wednesday market open. NYSE market open. And it kind of gives me the jiggity behibbities because it's not aggressive, right? No, normally if I mean New York, when it makes a move, it makes a move. Interestingly enough, look at how price reacted from that little fair value gap in the 3-hour time frame. That's interesting. The trend is your friend, remember that always. So price is struggling in this daily trend line resistance. Let's see what happens. I don't know. I mean, looks like it's gonna stay like that. It could go to 450 in extension 4500. It would be key to see price respecting 420. So where the candles, the bodies of these candles are, you want to see rejection wicks and the bodies of future candles respect. It's okay if you see a bearish candle, but you don't want to see that bearish candle close back below the bodies of these bearish candles or these bullish ones. Now make myself clear. If there were ever to be a bearish candle, you want it to close at this range where the bodies of these candles are closing and finishing. And it's okay if you see a wick like this one. And then ultimately you would want to see bullish engulfing candles continuing to close above previous candles. That's it. That's price action. Simple and effective. I will run one more potential setup in an intraday parameter. I want to see if I have a trade in the next 4 hours. Notice, look at that 4-hour candle. That's a beautiful bullish candle closing above 4415. And notice how this current candle, look at what I told you. I'm okay with looking at seeing bearish candles, but I want to see rejection at those previous candles bodies. You see that? That's beautiful. So based on the study of 4 hours, 48 hours back in time, what is likely to happen in the next 4 hours. I'm going to run that analysis to see.
Potential long trade.
Beautiful. 82% chance for a potential long trade. That changes the story. And if I see, okay, give me that setup. It's right here. It's telling me stage 1 macro scores a 0, reflecting a neutral macro breakdown where a bullish dollar reading is exactly offset by bearish real yields, meaning macro neither support nor oppose the long signal. Stage 3 technical is the dominant contributor of +8, driven by a confirmed inverse fair value gap and a 3 out of 4 Fibonacci alignment. The sweep then trend follow structure visible in the last 2 candles, which show a deep wick sweep to 4382, followed by a long and strong bullish score. Close at 4437. So what that is telling you this wick right here. Then it says stage 2 institutional weighs in at -2, representing the only meaningful headwind, as institutional flow is bearish without an extreme override, tempering but not invalidating the effective score of 10.5, which clears the +5 threshold. Key level 4419, the computed invalidation level, and most critical structural reference 4419. Okay, that is that recent low or these previous lows. Remember, I explained to you, I want to see price reject at these previous candles bodies. Look at the price. That is from 4410 to 4417-ish. This is telling me 4419. If I go to a lower time frame, that would be a clean break of structure to the downside in lower time frames. So that is telling you basically, if you see price closing back below 4419, beware. And it's so accurate because that means it's getting near this resistance and potentially coming back below. Okay? It's telling me it's in a range because it's a wider range of the recent high and this low. So the 4 hour, basically it's giving you the 4 hour range. And as you can see, the projection, I have it here set to auto, which is that particular setup, which is this one. And it's telling me right here the invalidation price and the 1 hour target. Okay. So that is your current intraday potential long setup. Should you wish to take this trade, it is your responsibility. This is not financial advice. there are multiple variables that are bullish, but there it is. Questions so far: who are you? Where are you from? What is Gucci? I forgot to show you this at the top. It says structure bullish, latest news, Geo elevated. That's cool. That's awesome. Always. This is live news. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Let's see how that 1 hour candle.
Breakout.
Oh, we got a breakout. Did you hear that? That was beautiful. In the 1 hour, we have a breakout of 4423. That's lovely. There's a breakout right there. Let me take this out of the way. I am going to unclick the volume profile. Actually, I'm going to leave the volume profile. The Fibonacci is what I want to hide. This is our projected 4 hour intraday target, as you know. but I wanted to go into the lower time frames if on 1 hour and see how the candles continue. All right. Let's see, people. Let's see. Let's put some music while we see that market NYC play out. It's gonna be 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, New York, and that is a powerful time. Oh yes, oh yes. Oh yes, oh yes. What's happening, people? Where are you from? Where are you from? Never care for what they say, people. Never care for what games they play. Never care for what they do. Never care for what they know. Simply enjoy the process and believe in yourself, trust yourself. Never give up. Never, 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 never give up. That is not an option. Never give up. Never.
So close, no matter how far. Couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trusting who we are.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Nothing else matters.
Beautiful song, beautiful song, beautiful song, beautiful song. I don't want to buy nothing else. Beautiful song. This one's nice as well. I mean, people, if you don't ask me anything, if you don't want to know anything in the chat, I'm just going to play music and enjoy the moment and wait for this trade to play out to 4,500. It's right there. I'm putting it there for you. It's right there.
Never see, won't see what might have been. What I felt, what I've known. Never shine doing what I've shown. Never free, never me. So I dug the end.
How does Liqu come up with its signal? How does Liqu come up with the signal? Great question, good question. Thank you for asking. How does Liqu come up with a signal? First of all, very important. First of all, it is not a signal. It is not a signal. We cannot tell you what to do with your money. We never will. However, we can and we do show you what is the high probable scenario. High probable setup, a projection based on market structure, institutional data, fundamental analysis, live news analysis, price action, and a little bit more that is within our back end that we just can't tell you. You know, why would we tell you the secret sauce? But what I can basically happily and proudly tell you is whatever we project so far has had over 80% probability of our take profit 1 level to get hit. That does not mean you will have 80% profitability if you don't have an appropriate risk management, or if you trade outside the confirmed projected setup. In other words, if you run a setup, if you run an analysis and it gives you this, for example, where it says long, potential long trade, there is an 80% and above chance, between 80 to 85% chance that you'll take profit 1 will get hit. Okay? Obviously, we recommend you start with scalping signals, which are shorter term, because the current market changes whenever someone, not to say names, farts, gets angry. What else? And maybe is pressured on by another crazy guy in regards to someone's files that are around, you know, someone's desk, and nothing has happened about it. They're just kind of hiding it from everyone, and they're creating these geopolitical events to distract everyone. And I can't say too much because then you know what happens. What I can say is
So I dug the unforgiven. Never free, never me. So I dug the unforgiven. You labeled me, I label you. So I dug the unforgiven. Never free, never me. So I dug the unforgiven. You labeled me, I label you. So I dug the unforgiven.
beautiful music, beautiful music. Beautiful music. Man, you just gotta enjoy yourself. There's nothing more. Enjoy life. Enjoy life.
Do you also dream of traveling the world?
Yes, I do, but I already traveled the world, so I don't want your offers. Oh yes, oh yes. Oh yes, oh yes. Use the chat. Tell me what's up. Where you from? What is Gucci? What do you want to know? What are your questions? What's in your mind? If you don't, All right, people, we are out of here in 15 minutes. We are out in 15 minutes. We are out of here in 15 minutes. Maybe less. Maybe less. Yes. Plug effects, brother. Yeah. Are these guys still showing this screen? Nah, that can't be. I'm never gonna pay premium. All right, people. It has been a pleasure. It has been a lovely moment to have shared the markets with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week. We've come a long way with our trading tool, our community, and our journey. So thank you, as always. Believe in yourself, trust yourself, follow your intuition, follow your heart. Don't listen to anyone else but your own inner voice. Because the only person that matters is you. Number one. Number two, you. And number three, you. If you are okay, the people around you are okay. Your relationship is going to be okay. Your job is going to be okay. As long as you are okay, everything will be okay. That's it. Watch the news, but don't listen to the news. Hear people, but don't listen to their opinion. Only listen to yourself. Listen to your heart. When he's calling. Let's go. Let's go. Let's close this. Let's close this wonderful. Let's close this wonderful stream with the nice music. Oh yes, oh yes.
Listen to your heart when he's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why. But listen to your heart
Always, always.
before you tell him goodbye.
Beautiful.
Sometimes you wonder if this fight is worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
The precious moments are all lost in the tide. Yeah, they're swept away, and nothing is what it seems. The feeling of belonging
Mm-hmm.
to your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to your heart when he's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why. But listen to your heart before
Beautiful card.
you tell him goodbye.
Beautiful card. Abundance.
And there are voices
Beautiful card, my friend.
so much to mention, but you can't find the words. The scent of magic.
You are king of your kingdom. You are powerful. You are the king or queen of your empire. Always know that. Always know that. Peace. Peace out. Before you tell him goodbye. You don't want to tell your heart goodbye. Oh no. I've wanted to tell my heart goodbye, I gotta admit. But you know what? You can't give up. Never give up. Absolutely, there's not an option. We didn't choose to come here to give up. The fuck? Don't give up. Not an option. Not an option.